Hey, what is up, Declaration? Hey, what is up, Declaration Church? Hey, what is up, Declaration family? Hey, what is up? And happy Thankful Thursday to all you people out there in Cyberland. What is up, Declaration Church? Hey, what is up, Declaration? Hey, what is up, Declaration family? Hey, what is up? And welcome to Epilogue. Hey, what is up, Declaration Church? Welcome to Epilogue on this Thankful Thursday. The Thankful Thursday right after Thanksgiving.
That's right.
Which is probably the most thankful of all the Thankful Thursdays.
It's hard to believe it's already been a week.
I know, it is.
Since Thanksgiving.
But time flies when you're having fun, John.
I guess it does.
I guess it does. Time flies when you're in the midst of finals, right?
That's right. For those of us in school right now.
Yep. Yeah. I'm not in school, nor will I probably ever go back to school. So
I'm
I guess never say never.
Contemplating my life decisions as we speak.
Hey, every day you should get smarter, right? Pretty sure A.W. Tozer said that.
Yeah, keep going.
Anyway, so if you caught the service on Sunday, let us know what you're thankful for. And honestly, let us know what you're thankful for anyway, because we want to know. But if you missed the service on Sunday, go back and watch it. Check it out. We're going to talk a little bit about it and just kind of what to look forward to.
Yeah,
man. Next coming week, because we're starting a new series this Sunday. We have a lot of stuff coming up, actually. This is the season of, I mean, it's just a fun season. It's right. It's the Christmas season. It's the season where we begin to really look at, a lot of times the birth of Jesus and just celebrating this whole new change that the Lord brings through His Son. And so coming up soon, this Saturday we have Christmas Bash. Just going to throw that out there.
Yep.
Bring your family, bring your kids, bring your neighbors.
Invite your friends, family, all about it. Yeah.
It's going to be a fun time, a great time. So come be a part of that. It's on this Saturday. I think, 5 to 8?
I think that's right, Shane.
5 to 8. Look at that. My noggin is working. So this last Sunday was the last sermon for the series, Thanksliving, which, of course, I'm sure you can tell by the name, had a lot to do with thankfulness. And,
right.
'Tis the season of Thanksgiving. And so just living a life full of gratitude. And
that's
I think
right.
each week you talked about, a grateful life is this, a grateful life is this, and you just kind of...
Yeah, so we obviously started with a grateful life is the will of God, and comes straight from 1 Thessalonians 5. It's kind of been the theme verse, give thanks in all circumstances. That's the will of God for your life. And then we went into a grateful life as a godly life, which talked about, humility and honor and holiness. And then we went into the grace-filled life, which had its own set of applications there. It talked about not quick to offend, very fast to forgive, always looking to, for the redemptive thing that Jesus is trying to do and participating in that, celebrating the goodness of God. And then last week, a grateful life is a generous life, and just really talked about, being generous in our worship, our praise, being generous with our time and how we serve. Jesus, yes, you alluded to, we're stepping into the Christmas season, the story of the birth of Jesus, really a story of gospel, a story of new covenant. And, and he came, obviously God was incredibly generous to offer his son in our place. And so there needs to be a reciprocity there, right? That we are called to respond to that in some way. And I'm afraid that, that we can become very lazy in our lifestyle, and we have it pretty comfortable, and we can find, we search, we seek out convenience. But the truth of the matter is that a grateful life really is a generous life. And so obviously generous in our praise, our affection for God, that needs to kind of be first and foremost. And then that leads to, the work of our hands, how we operate, how we spend our time. And I don't know. I hope that some of these things are seeds being planted in fertile soil, that it's causing some reflection or some contemplation of, okay, well, how is it that I'm spending my time? That will lead to application, right? I think a lot of people will contemplate. The question is application happening? Yeah. And so therefore, then what does that call me to do? How does that call me to respond, right? Like, what am I doing with my time, And it's not that spending time doing other things, activities, are bad things. It's just a matter of, do those have the fullness of our affection more than, the Lord does? And so, I believe we are called to serve in every capacity. I think, I don't know the national average, but I think that there's a pretty strong statistic in the church that's a very minor percentage of the people that's doing 100% of the serving, you know? And I don't know what the statistic is of our church, really. I'm sure that we could find those metrics and pull those and, you know, do the mathematical equation. But I would probably assume it's probably about 25% of what our church is actually the ones that are doing most of the serving. And so I would challenge that, you know. If maybe anybody is sitting at home and they hear this message, you know, I did not say this implicitly on Sunday, but I would say it now, is that if you're not serving the Lord, then I'm going to ask you to, you know, because that is what a grateful heart that responds to the gospel, that responds to the goodness of God wants to do. Yeah. It's not out of obligation or habit or duty or fear. It's out of, man, I want to do this because of what God has done in me, for me, what you know, and what can he do through me? Yeah. How can I partner with gospel to see people's lives changed and to meet needs? And so, and then obviously the third part of that messaging was generous in our giving, realizing that all the resources we have aren't ours anyway; they're from Him. And so, of course, we give our first part back to Him from our first fruits. That's that 10% tithe. But then also, when called upon, we continue to give. We continue that generosity of how can I meet that need? That's very Acts 2. You know, when you see Pentecost take place, and man, the Spirit of God sets on the place, sets it on fire, and man, people are, man, the only word I've got in my mind is they're inebriated by this, right? Yeah. I mean,
that's what it says. Right?
They are inebriated by this, and so they want to stay there. And I liken that to times in my life where I have encountered God in this powerful way, and man, I don't want to leave that moment. I don't want to leave that place. I want to stay right there in just this rich, tangible presence of God, right? And so I think that's what happened. Yeah. And so obviously then there had to be some things take place, right? So they're all hanging out, right? And okay, well, we need to eat. And so they just began to, hey, I have this, you have that. Let's work together. I know that some who are more politically minded than theologically minded would say, well, that sounds like communism. No, it's just these people loved Jesus and they loved one another, and they recognized that everything was from the Lord and for the Lord. And if He had given, you can't outgive Him. And so all of a sudden, like when you begin to share and give and meet needs, man, God continues to pour into you because He sees that He's got a heart there that He can trust. Yeah. And He's going to keep meeting needs through you, right? He's going to keep doing that. And so, you know, mindset is a lot here, but and maybe that's it. Maybe if we were to keep going, or we'd had 15, 20 more minutes, we would unpack some of that of just, man, are we thinking with gratitude? Yeah. Because thinking with gratitude will lead to living with gratitude. But most of the time, I think that we're thinking in scarcity or poverty, and we're withholding instead of just giving. And so
that's good.
That's kind of the heart of that message, in a sense of.
Well, I think too, one of the things that at least made me really look like introspectively and look inside is just this idea. You talked about not too long ago, a couple seconds ago, just about the heart of it, right? And it's kind of the same thing of growing up. I always heard that salvation is free. You don't have to do anything for it. Mm-hmm. But of course, faith without works is dead, right?
Right.
And that's the whole idea of if you're not serving, if you're not seeing seeds, or you're not seeing fruit, then that makes me look more internally of like, okay, what am I missing? What am I not doing? Because if I'm not serving cheerfully, if I'm not giving cheerfully, if I'm just doing it because, well, I need to give my tithe out of this check, right? And it's not something I'm doing cheerfully, then that's a matter of what's in my heart, right?
Right. Well, you even said, you alluded to, I'm trying to remember your words, but you were talking about salvation and working towards that or something. I forgot the phrase that you said, to which I would say, you can't. There's nothing you can do, but there's something you should on the other side of receiving, right? And so I would say that works are very important. In fact, if you're not doing works, that's a problem. Mm-hmm. But those works are not a prerequisite to something, as if you can buy it or earn it. Mm-hmm. You can't. You just have to receive this gift. But once you receive the gift, what are you going to do with it? Right? Yeah, what are you going to do with it? Like no one, if I gave you, let's just say all of a sudden, I took you outside of the office and said, Shane, do you see this brand new Porsche? This is for you. What would you do? The first thing you do, by the way, there's not a Porsche out there, but what would you do?
Well, I'd probably smile.
And then what?
Are you sure?
You'd probably want to drive that thing, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, and so I liken that to Christians who would receive the gift but do nothing with it.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Like, you need to drive that. You need to get after it, you know?
And
And
give
so
other people rides.
I had a friend once that frustrated the masses because he said, I'm not saying that if there's no works in your life, you're not saved. I'm just saying I'd question it.
Yeah.
And even that, right there, because we're so me-focused, me-centered, that we think about, wait a minute, I don't have my fire insurance? Wait a minute,
Yeah.
No. What I'm saying is, you can't do anything to earn it. But once you receive it, on the backside of that, you sure should be doing something.
Yeah.
Because you shouldn't be able to help yourself. The gratitude for what you recognize you've received should compel you, should drive you to want to serve, to want to give, to want to share, to want to meet the need. And so that's really...
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's exactly it. Even thinking of, in all the different ways, you talked about the 3 different ways. Of course, we're generous in our worship to the Lord, which of course, that's another overflow of, man, you have done so much for me, God. You gave your son for me so that we could be in community, so that we could be in community. And now because of that, I worship you just fully, like, reckless abandon, just worship you. And then we also give in our time, which I think that's a very valuable asset, right? Is our time and what we do with our time. And, you see it all, just like you said, we want to be comfortable. And, it's easy for me, a lot of times I'll say, like, I love to be spontaneous, but at the same time, like, it's my life is way less stressful whenever I feel like I have a set schedule.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And so time is a very valuable
Which
resource.
actually, if you think about that, most of us do.
Yeah.
Most of us do have a set schedule.
Absolutely.
And so the fact that we have intentionally filled our time with things that don't sow into the kingdom or build the kingdom of God is troubling.
Yeah.
Like we need to look at our time. And I know somebody might go, well, that's easy for you. You're a pastor. You get paid.
Yeah,
yes, but
true, yeah.
Okay, so here's my choice. I'm choosing not to be in some sort of industry that is super lucrative that's setting me up to take care of my grandkids, right? Or my kids' or whatever. So there is some give and take here. But yeah, I think that we intentionally we schedule time and we make time for things that matter.
Yeah.
Like we just do. And so, that's why we often talk about like small groups, things like that. Man, if it's important to you, you will make time for this. Yeah. And get this, man, the Lord is the most important thing. You will be spending eternity with him, right? And so I think it's one of the most important things that we do is to foster that relationship, to get to know him as well as we can, to reciprocate that heart of, man, you poured it out for me. I'm gonna offer back to you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so, yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing that we need to be thinking about.
Yeah, I think it's and then of course the third one being just generous with our money and our resources.
Yeah.
And that one to me I think is, for some people, is harder than others. I think some people, they have the gift of giving, right? And some people don't. And I think it's more. But
some people think they got the gift of receiving. You know what I'm saying?
But I think, but everybody has their different things, and I think that whether it's worship, whether it's your time, or whether it's a monetary thing, every one of those is important to just give, right?
Well, it all drills back to, God wants your heart.
Yeah.
And I think if he has your affections, and if he has the at least the mindset of, okay, God, I'm going to give my first and best to you in my time and in these resources, then he has your heart.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't have your first and best in the time and the resources, like, can you functionally get up on a Sunday morning to begin your week, the first fruit of your week, and give God an hour and a half just of worship, right? That's a challenge to so many. And before we even talk about money, that's why I even said, time is the hardest commodity for me to press into, to challenge, right? Because I realize it's a thing, right? Yeah. But God's really after your heart. And so, I will say, just as we kind of wrap it up here, we did give a report too, because I don't want everybody to think, well, this is so negative. It's not negative.
Yeah,
there's so many great things happening. There's so many people that are really pressing in and pursuing Jesus, and man, they're giving that affection, they're giving that time, they're giving that they're giving of their finances, and
yeah, we've done some incredible stuff for the community.
I'm telling you, man, it is awe-inspiring when I look back and see the things that we were able to partner with and the impact that we have been able to make together. And I think it's just the beginning, man. I honestly think as big as some of these things have become that we've been able to partner with, it's just scratching the surface of what we can do and what God is calling us to do. And so that jazzes me up. We gave this report about movement. You know, this is like officially the last month, if you will, that was scheduled for this initiative called Movement. But movement never stops because God's movement never stops, right? And so we want to continue to join God as he moves. Our initiative, you know, somewhat is coming to a close in a sense, but it doesn't mean that we stop giving, because we have a ministry that we're operating in a sense of. And hear it this way: we have a kingdom to build, not ours, God's. Yeah. And so God has called us to build this church that's, you know, a full-time ministry campus, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, versus 24 billable hours that we rent through the school. And I think we're just now starting to kind of cross over that hill to where we'll start seeing a lot of momentum faster. And so we gave that update. Hopefully you saw that video, and we're very excited about that. We feel like that here just within weeks, honestly, that we will be sitting in a very cool position where we are very close to owning all of that property outright. Who would have thought in 2 years 113 acres would be completely owned by declaration, ramped up, ready to break ground, ready to build. We're in the process of finalizing the floor plan. We're in the process of, you know, finalizing all the details that come with, I mean, I could bore people to tears for an hour talking about all the things that are going on behind the scenes. But, man, really cool stuff coming. And so, you know, even though the initiative is kind of over, that what we said, we are not stopping. You know, we have more initiative now, like fire in our bones, to keep pressing forward than we ever had before, because it's like when we started, we said, if you don't see it before you see it, you'll never see it. We're so close to seeing it.
That's what, I think about every time we drive by, and even with the stakes out there, it's like a little bit more of like,
I know,
where you're seeing a little bit more,
I know,
a little bit more. And
that, I tell you, the first time there's a tractor on there pushing some dirt around, it's going to be really cool.
Yeah.
Because you can actually physically walk out into it. It's going to be awesome. And so,
that's
yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be really cool stuff. I feel like that it's very plausible, I said, within 18 months, you know, 20 months maybe, we could be having worship there for the first time.
That's awesome.
And it's, very exciting.
Awesome. Well, hey, guys, thank you again for being a part. Now, before we go, one more time, I just want to remind you, Christmas Bash
That's right.
is on Saturday. So bring everyone you know. Bake some cookies, bring them to your neighbors, and invite them to Christmas Bash, because it's going to be awesome. And again, it's Saturday at Snyder Elementary. So,
and then our Christmas give, that if you're participating in that, bring that back by December 12th. Make sure that's going to be a powerful thing to be a part of. Over 200 kids right here in the feeder zone of Grand Oaks and Oak Ridge. Make sure to be a part of that. Check out that give wall in the back of the room, in the back of the auditorium on Sunday. And then Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve service.
3 p.m., 5 p.m., is that right?
3 p.m. and 5 p.m. on Christmas Eve, which is the 24th.
That's right, yeah. Christmas Eve is the 24th.
That's the 24th. It's on a Friday. So.
All right.
Hey, thank you guys. We love you. We're praying for you. Let us know what you're thankful for, and we will see you on Sunday. Saturday. We'll see you on Saturday.
Saturday.